Hello and welcome everyone to Grid Vision. We're excited to be here tonight, of course, at Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, as we get ready for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. We have Joe LaCastro, I do believe. Hopefully I'm saying that right, Joe. Taylor Bird is down behind the cameras. Joe, I know I haven't had the pleasure of calling a race with you before, but I'm definitely excited to kind of do that here tonight. What a racetrack we've picked as well. Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle. This is an exciting racetrack. I mean, it's kind of a hybrid of all sorts of racetracks, actually. Of course, I have actually a list of all the tracks. This is actually modeled after. Turn 1, of course, is modeled after a now no longer in existence, but Trenton Speedway. Turn 2 is modeled after the tunnel turn at Indianapolis Speedway. And, of course, Turn 3 is modeled after the Milwaukee Mile. So 3 different distinct corners here at Pocono for these drivers here to navigate here, of course, in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. I couldn't talk there for a second. But how are you, man? Are you ready for some racing here at Pocono?
I am absolutely ready for racing, and you've already hit me with some trivia that I've got to say I didn't know. First, the Tricky Triangle. I'm going to keep that one in my back pocket for the rest of the night. And all of those turns, it's going to make anybody's head spin, and that's going to be tough for our drivers to keep up with, I'm sure, with 3 distinct ways to tackle, 3 distinct turns. You can't really do the same thing twice or 4 times, right, as you might do on some of the larger tracks.
You can't. You got to be able to make sure you know which corner you're going into. That's for sure. But I think we have some keys to the race here. I think we're going to look at here, Joe, and I think you got that.
That's right. Let's start with the first one: fuel saving. We think you can make about maybe 30, 31 laps, something like that, in these trucks before you're going to have to pit. And if you want to make this a one-stop race, you're going to have to fuel save. This is a track that's going to eat up tires. So if you don't fuel save and you don't really pay attention to your braking zones and your acceleration, you're going to run out of gas early. You're going to be looking at a second stop. It's going to cost you positions late in the race. I think that's going to be the first fuel race. Second race, the tunnel turn. Number 2. Coming out of there, famously, a spot where many people are going to potentially lose control of their vehicle. It's a tighter turn than the other turns on the track, and the potential to overdrive it is there. So let's watch that spot, maybe as the tires start to get a little bit warm and a little buttery. Watch that spot for maybe a few yellows during the race. And third, maximize that exit out of turn 3. You're going to see racers use the entire racetrack, trains of cars perhaps forming, where they're going to be able to use the inside and the outside of the track to great effect. The exit of turn 3 is one of those spots where if you nail the exit of turn 3, you're going to come flying into the longest stretch in the NASCAR circuit. And you're going to have so much speed coming to the line that you're going to be challenging anybody who's on the inside.
That's right. I think speed on that front stretch is going to be very, very important. There's always a kind of an argument on what is the most important corner on this racetrack, and I'd argue turn 3 is definitely one of the highest priorities. But it does look like we have the grid set for this evening's action. Of course, before we get to that, let's actually do our picks. I'm going to go ahead and make my pick. I do believe I'm going to go with James Harris going to win this race here tonight. He's my buddy. I'm always picking him. Joe, who you got?
I got Carter Casey. I'm new to the series a little bit. I looked at the list and I said, there's a beautiful alliterated name. CC Carter Casey. Sounds like a superhero from the 1940s. I'm going to pick him.
It does sound like a Marvel hero or something. Of course, it looks like Burris's pick. Taylor Burris, our producer, has picked. I do believe that is the one car, possibly. I think that is actually Robbie Keneally. So that is, of course, a cosmetic custom number there. Robbie Keneally, I don't blame him for picking him. He is a quick driver. But let's go through the starting grid. It looks like I do believe Cody Hemingway going to be starting out on the pole here tonight. Of course, James Loveland, who has been really, really fast here as of late. He's going to be starting in second place. Tyler Meeks is going to be starting third. Fourth place, Andrew Hale. Fifth, Kalen Mitchell. Sixth place, of course, Kalen Mitchell won last week, I should mention. Sixth place, Harley Barletta. Seventh, Keegan Sobilo. Eighth, Carter Casey, your pick. Ninth, Nick Jaboski. And 10th, Stephen Witt.
All right, coming around into the 11th spot, we've got John Horn. 12th, Nathan Meyer. 13th, James Harris. I'm going backwards. 14th, John Ledger. I hope I said that right. 15th, Toby, a.k.a. Clifford Ritters. 16th, Russ Kilgore. 17th, Jason Taylor. 18th, John Lucido. 19th, Ryan Jalek. And 20th, Blake Tidwell.
21st going to be Kenneth Burrell. 22nd, George Young. 23rd, William Mann Jr., 24th, Kobe Jackson, 25th, Robbie Keneally, our producer's pick. Of course, rounding out this 26-car field is Brian High. Now, of course, I do want to mention a little bit, all 4 of the races here, should I say 3 of the races this season have been won by James Harris, the first 3 of the season. Of course, last week I was not here in attendance, was not able to commentate the race, but I did watch it online and did tune into Grid Vision's broadcast and saw, of course, Kalen Mitchell able to secure his first win, which was insanely awesome to see. I mean, Kalen has been really knocking at the door of that first win, so we're glad to see that for sure. But I got to be James Harris is going to be wanting to get back to victory lane. I'd like Carter Casey. I like your pick. Here we go, though. I am so excited to get this underway. Looking at the track temp right now, it's like about 93 degrees at the moment, which is quite cool compared to the officials that I've seen this week. I've seen in the A Opens at around 115 to 110, somewhere in that Fahrenheit. So curious to see, does that provide more grip to these drivers? What is the fall off going to look like when it comes to these lap times? We're getting ready to find out.
There they are now, 2 wide coming down. It is going to be interesting. Now, thank you for giving me some names to follow. So now I'm going to be eyes on Kalen Mitchell, eyes on my guy Carter Casey, and you mentioned James Harris also.
He is the current points leader. He has won the first 3 races of the season. He's on a little bit of a hot streak right now as the pace car gets ready to take that left turn down pit road as we get ready to go green flag here on Grid Vision in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Cody Hemingway qualified on the pole, up through the gears he goes, loud pedal down. As you can see, that inside line getting a really good run, 3 wide already. This is when you're going to have the best chance of getting positions here at Pocono. You really want to capitalize on these restarts. As it looks like you see Hemingway goes up the racetrack. The 7 of Tyler Meeks now to the inside for the race lead.
Everybody just trying to find position here. No one wants to be
went to the wall, big wreck.
Contact.
And that is Nathan Meyer heavy into the outside wall. We have multiple race trucks with just crazy damage right now.
You know what I was just saying? No one wants to be the one to cause the wreck on turn 1.
Oh.
And I watched the 21 make wall contact, and then that was the moment the big wreck happened. Unbelievable. Very unfortunate to see early on. It's going to filter out a number of racers, I'm sure, already.
And it looks like, I think, the epicenter of this crash is essentially the 24 of Nathan Meyer. You can see somebody got into his rear end while he was exiting turn number 1. And you could just tell these guys are really wanting to get a good start to this race. And unfortunately, just a massive crash. We watched the 24 probably trying to react there and behind him, and then somebody just shoots up into him.
It was a 35.
Trying to figure out who that was, a 35. I think that was Blake Tidwell, I should say, in the 35. I think you said that was on that bottom side that kind of shot up into the 24 of Meyer. Now, Meyer, just a little bit of background here, is the reigning champion of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, and he has not had a great season up until now. He's kind of having, in a way, the championship slump. You know, usually you get that championship title, and then the next season you kind of have, I'd say, some bad luck, if you will. I don't know if it's just maybe the mindset changes after you've already got a championship. I'm not exactly sure, but definitely a big crash here. One thing that these guys are fortunate, though, is that they have a fast repair, a quick repair in the pits, and Nathan seems like he will make it back to pit road. Toby Ritters at the moment is 1 lap down, so we will see a lot of guys able to use that fast repair, but you do not want to use that thing early here at Pocono.
Yeah, this is going to be a setback potentially, especially given that we expect there to be, well, flat out, I expect there to be another yellow or 2 before the end of the race. And if you're using your fast repair now, you're putting yourself on thin ice for later, and you're going to be driving more defensively. These are guys who maybe wanted to put on a bit of a better show tonight, and now they're going to be on the back foot a little bit. Toby Ritter has not yet come out of pit row. Still sitting there with the fast repair. Hopefully he's able to make his way back out. George Young did make his way back out, and so he's going to come around and join the back.
Well, sometimes guys, that have to take a tow. Like I think that's probably what happened to Ritter. He got so heavily damaged in that wreck that he was not able to even limp it back to pit road. He had to call the tow truck. That's why he has not left pit road yet. And that's just one of those deals. One thing that's kind of good about Pocono, even though the crashes, when you have a crash here, it's at such high speeds, it's very difficult to make it back to pit road. But one good thing is because of the long pace laps at this track, you don't lose as many laps as you could at a track that's like a shorter track. It's a 2.5 mile. Yeah. But it looks like we're going to have some guys probably doing some fuel saving right now. Of course, most of the field elected to come stay out on the racetrack. I would not be surprised we're going to see some guys probably doing a little bit of clutching, maybe shutting off the engines, coasting here under caution. Pace car lights are out, though. We're getting ready to get them back going once again.
The mindset of the race. This restart's being so important here at Pocono, as you mentioned. We've got a bunch of guys, their tires are still fresh, their cars are still ready to go. So this is going to be like the race had just been starting for the first time now for everybody but people who got caught up in that wreck.
That's definitely a good point. I mean, they only made it through turn one. There was not enough time to really get the tire temp up. And this is the track you're going to want to have a little bit of, heat in those tires to have maximum grip. So definitely look for these guys to try to get started again on the right foot. That might have been the warning call to everybody in the field to calm down a little bit here. Yeah. Here comes the pace car down pit road as Cody Hemingway once again into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out once again. And what a start there. What a start from Kalen Mitchell. Really just all over the rear end of the 10 machine already, going to be pushing him into turn one. You see the 10 tries to go up high. Meeks has to kind of get out of the way a little bit there. You really want to arc these corners as much as you can. That's the thing about Pocono. These corners are sharp, and you really want to try to straighten them out. And look at that draft. You see Cody Hemingway trying to break the draft.
Doing what he can. Hemingway, just a little bit of movement. Just a touch of lateral movement is all it's going to be taking you out of that tunnel. But then they're going to get right back into it depending on your braking zones here. It looks like Hemingway is very confident turn two there. Screaming through it.
Well, turn two is the fastest. Turn two is the fastest corner on this racetrack. I mean, it is the trickiest corner in a lot of ways because you can very easily smash that outside wall or spin out. But of course, Cody Hemingway trying to break that draft.
I know one car will try to leave an autograph on the wall before the night is over. But I see him straightening out the corner, as you said, starting on the outside, diving down toward the yellow line as the rest of the line appears to straighten out. It looks like Andrew Hale passing up James Harris. Harris still around 8th position, but making his way up a little bit, up 4 from his original starting place of 13th.
And we're seeing a lot of people pretty much single filing out. I think eventually we're going to see it start to spread out. But you see Carter Casey, your pick, starting to challenge for that top 5. Look at there, Andrew Hale making a big move to the inside, trying to get underneath the 77 of Keegan Sabilo. And this is so hard to pass at this track. It is incredibly difficult to pass at this track. You really have to look for any sort of weakness in another driver. Oh, look at these. These guys are chasing each other down the track, trying to break the draft.
Using each other for the speed is the right idea here. If you're out there by yourself, you're not going anywhere. But if you've got a partner, as you just saw, you can become a two-man missile for a second.
Well, I mean, look at James Harris. That was a slide job if I ever saw one. He just sent it, and he has moved up into the 7th place position. Well, when you see these guys, just for information, when you see these guys shoot down to the bottom of the racetrack, they're not trying to help each other out. They're actually trying to break the draft of the guy behind him. But the guy behind him tries to follow them down there because, of course, the guy that's ahead of you is cutting through the air. You want to have the least air resistance that you can. So that's why you see these guys trying to follow each other so closely. And everybody's trying to be unpredictable and not let you have that draft. You see a little bit of contact there between the 4 and the 55 of James Harris and Andrew Hale battling for 8th right now. These guys have no love lost between each other. Cody Hemingway, though, out to a 6/10 of a second gap right now. He is pulling away.
It's impressive to see the reaction times of the people who are breaking that draft, as you said, and they're able to stick with the person. I've driven the trucks a little bit myself, but having that kind of reaction time, especially on a track like Pocono, and being able to use it is really, really impressive.
Yeah, this is a tough track as it is. I mean, of course, like I said before, it's kind of a hybrid. I talk about the 3 different turns. You know, it's a hybrid in more ways than there's just that. I mean, you really, it's almost kind of like a road course and a super speedway mixed together. Because I mean, you really don't know what to expect anytime you go into these corners, and when you're on these straightaways, it is almost like you're at Talladega. I mean, you get such massive runs down these straightaways because of that draft, and that's why you see these guys really moving to try to take that advantage away from the drivers behind. But Cody Hemingway, I just cannot believe how far he's pulled out right now. I think this is showing how incredibly valuable clean air is here tonight as well. Just considering he's out to almost a second, 8/10, 9/10 of a second right now. He might break the draft on Caleb Mitchell.
Yeah, it looks like if there was a car length amount that was a bit more just saying is Cody Hemingway is finding it right now. Every time he enters a turn, he's able to push that gap at close to a second. It's been really impressive. Basically, that so perfect.
Yeah.
That you're going to have to match him. But with Tyler Meeks so close on Caleb Mitchell, Caleb Mitchell is driving defensively or trying to drive offensively at the same time. Which one do you think he's going to have to focus on?
That's a really good question. I think he's definitely going to have to be defensive in a way because, I mean, he's got Carter Casey as well coming up. I mean, the 8 last time by was the fastest car on the racetrack. Carter Casey, 54.598 last time by. He's running some of his fastest laps at the moment. So I think you were very wise when it came to picking the 8 machine because he is looking quite quick. But as I mentioned before, very hard to pass at this track. And you can see, even though Kalen is a little bit slower than the guys behind him, he's able to hold them back there because it's so difficult to pass. You just have to be just somewhat close to the speed of the guy behind you to be able to hold him back there. That's why I'm looking for drivers to make mistakes. Mistakes are going to be where you're going to get positions.
Gotcha. We're talking about things like maybe tapping the ball accidentally.
Exactly. Get loose.
Pass, get into some dirty air and just get pushed back as the line drives past you on the left. We saw that a lot in the Xfinity runs where the car would get out of line and go for a pass maybe on the outside and just not be able to get back in line.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely something that you could, if you have any sort of teams that are working together, such as you know, Keegan Sabilo and Caleb Mitchell, they're on the same team. Some of these guys are on teams, and if they were to try to cooperate, that could be something they could do to try to line up. If we see a big race going on now for second place as Tyler Meeks has gotten underneath the 67. Can he get the rundown? I mean, of course, turn 3, we've talked about it being the most important turn. Can he get the run down this straightaway? Can he get clear? He's not going to get clear. This is why turn 3 is so important. And look at that, 3 wide as here comes Carter Casey. Casey says, I'm going to try to pass both of you. 2 for 1 special. Can he get by these guys in turn 1?
Now Casey's the man on the inside, though. Whoa. Almost.
That was close.
Yeah, that was close to that. I'm not even sure Casey realized how close things were there, as we are still too wide. He's on the inside now. He's looking to keep his speed up, but he's not going to be able to with no draft of his own. He's going to have to find a way to get back in line, and hopefully he'll be able to do so without cutting the nose off of James Loveland. Yeah,
and the bad part about it is these guys racing for the second place position, all they're doing is letting Cody Hemingway drive away. Cody has now got to 1.5 seconds. He's gone. Like, I mean, Cody is in another zip code at the moment, and the more these guys race, the more he's going to pull away. I talked about earlier how important the draft is. You know, of course, you just kind of touched on that a little bit about Casey getting in line. Well, clean air is very important as well in the corners. You know, you see these guys being able to benefit from the draft in the straightaways. Well, in the corner, clean air is actually what you want to have, because that gives you the best handling. As we see a just massive fight going on right now. Keegan Sabilo has entered the fray. He's going to see if he can possibly work his way up into the top 5.
Drivers are getting back into a nice single file line. I obviously not because of it. How much of
the one thing that you can do at this racetrack, and I think Casey just showed that you can do that, is you can push that driver ahead of you quicker than they want to go. into the corner. You know, you have to slow down for these corners. A lot of people might not know this is a big track, 2.5 miles. That's a big track, but there is still some braking and lifting involved when it comes to setting up these corners. And if you can push that guy ahead of you, a little bit of contact there as the 7 gets a little bit wiggly. They're getting backed up quite crazily. Somehow they stick, they keep it together. But you saw that worked out phenomenally for Carter Casey. He pushed the 7 of Meeks into the corner faster than he wanted to go. So Meeks has to get up out of that groove, and that gave Casey the position. So you can be offensive. I'm sure, of course, it will be offensive to the driver you do it to.
Yeah. Right. With no kind of warning. I've seen one before, and I usually have seen it done on straightaways just to avoid turns. But here at Pocono, it looks like there's just the right mix of chaos.
Oh, room for James Harris. He's around. Caution flag is out. James Harris, I think he just had a massive spin. I don't think he also hit the wall. And that is going to bring out our second caution of the evening. That is my pick. I'm crying now. And that, of course, the accident happening between the 4 of Andrew Hale and the 55. As I mentioned before, these guys have no love lost between each other, and I don't know if maybe they were just racing. They race each other a little harder than other people would. I mean, I think that's just because they have had their fair share of on-track altercations in the past. They are both very quick, and a lot of times when 2 drivers that are very quick are on the same track, they end up together, and that's exactly what I think we just saw there. We'll have to definitely take maybe another look at it. Possibly we can see from a different angle. It definitely seemed like they just some racing. I think it was a racing deal. I don't think that was anything malicious, but it's definitely going to add to the. I think that they're going to have that journaled. That's for sure. Hey, you know, he wrecked me today. As you can see, the 55 gets really tight in turn 3, gets into the 4, and that, of course, already unsettled the race car, and he just spins out. This is going to be some bad damage for the 55. He's going to lose a lot of track position.
Once you get to the same guy twice, it seems like things seem to have this relationship that we just mentioned where, you know, there's no love lost between some of these things where they're going to see each other next to each other. Broadcasting, or as a spectator, these guys driving each other, or are they driving the race? And
yeah, that's a good question.
In this case, it really did look like they were driving the race. And could you say that it was maybe some dirty air as the 55 got down on the inside and just lost that tunnel of the draft?
Well, I think it could have been possibly some of that, and I think it could as well have been the tires are really starting to heat up. I mean, these guys have been pretty far into this run, and but of course, while we have a moment here before the race resumes, I think now's a good time. We'll shout out one of our sponsors here for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, of course, that being the title sponsor, Champion Power Equipment. CPE, since 2003, has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the U.S. for the North American and world markets. Visit them at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. And we're definitely glad to have those guys on board there. They've been a long-time supporter of this series, and of course they have the namesake, and you know, definitely love those guys for sure. And everybody filing on the pit road. Pit road's going to be very important here tonight. You can see no one, you know, pretty much skipping the tires. Once you get, I'd say, 5 or so laps on those tires, you're going to want to come down and probably get another set, because I mean this place wears them out quite a bit here in this truck.
Yeah, do you know how many sets of tires do they have tonight available for them?
They have 3. But 4 altogether. 4 start with the one they were starting on, but 3 in the pits to change it to. So now they have 2 left, 2 sets.
Okay. So there could be a little bit of a strategy based on when yellows happen, who's a part of it, who's not. You might even come in for a fresh set of tires just to give yourself a little bit of a competitive edge if you're around mid-pack when you've got time, if there's enough time before the end of the race. But not after it's too late, obviously. It's certainly do want to do it. So
well, I mean, later in this race, I mean, if we continue to have cautions, it could, you know, maybe come down to someone who has saved their tires might have a huge advantage later in the event. So we'll have to wait and see how this kind of all plays out. But it is definitely going to be a strategy thing. I mean, if you are further back in the field and you take tires and we go green and no one else took tires, that could be a very big advantage, especially if we stay green. And of course, we saw that was a pretty good green run right there. I mean, we went green for, I do believe, about 10 or so laps, and that's quite a bit at a track like Pocono. Of course, this is a long track. Pace car dipping down pit road as we get ready to go once again. Green flag out in the air. Cody Hemingway up through the gears. And of course, looks like, yep, Hemingway goes up to the top of the track trying to arc the corner. Carter Casey, though, fighting side by side for second place into turn one.
Still 2 wide in the back, 3 wide in some cases as they sort themselves out going through turn one. Don't want to see another repeat at the beginning of the race. Nobody does.
Oh, the 3!
I spoke too soon. I
The
should have
3.
said nothing.
Yeah, you should have said nothing. I'm just like, Colby Jackson. I think he kicked that off. The 3 of Colby Jackson with a massive spin right in front of some other drivers. I believe the 2 of Russ Kilgore was involved in that crash as well. So we're seeing this right here. It looks like the 3 gets tight up on the 2. And I think he was just already unsettled when he had contact with the 2 already, and that unsettled the truck. And of course, Russ Kilgore, of course, along for the ride as well. I think the 13 of Brian High was also involved in that unfortunate accident. With that, I think now's a good time. We'll take a brief step away. We'll pay some attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Grid Vision. Of course, definitely been an exciting race thus far. I think we're at our third caution of the evening. We've seen a lot of trucks get destroyed. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. We have Joe LaCastro up in here in the booth with me. Definitely glad to have him as well. Cody Hemingway has led the majority of this race so far. Who can beat him? This is going to be curious to see, but I think we're getting ready to go back green here in just a moment. I think pace car lights have gone out as everybody's getting themselves sorted. What do you think of the race so far there, Joe?
Well, I think that we watched Cody Hemingway put on a bit of a show, but part of it was because of the battle that was going on behind him. And the battle behind him between Tyler Meeks, Carter Casey, who else was back there? Kalen Mitchell. That battle was causing the gap to keep wider and wider. But Hemingway knows this track so well that I would be surprised if we don't see a bit of a repeat of that if we can stay green for a little while. Let's see him put on another clinic in terms of how to take these turns so the guys behind him are all fighting to try to get a piece of that first place action.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point. I mean, of course, we do have some new drivers that are closer to the front now. Keegan Sabilo, who was very dominant last year, or last season, I should say, came in second place in the point standings, won quite a bit of races. He's now up in third. He is a real-life short track driver. Can he make something happen? And well as Robbie Keneally. We've always known him to be a real-life short track driver as well, and he's very, very talented when at tracks like this that are technical. So watch out. I don't think Cody is going to be, doing exactly that again. We'll see. Maybe he can. He does seem like he has the pulse of this racetrack, though, as the pace car should be dipping out soon.
He's in an interesting position given that the yellow squished everybody back together. Now he's got to put on a repeat of an amazing start. So it's going to be a real matter of skill here to see if he can pull that one off.
100%. Here comes the pace car as we get ready to exit turn number 3. And let's see, can he do it? Of course, very interesting decision here from Cody, deciding to start up on the top side. He's going to get a pretty good run. He was kind of already running up there earlier. It's a green flag back out in the air. Very good restart there from Hemingway. Able to really just get a massive launch. As well, Keegan Sabilo getting a really good jump as well. He rockets his way up to second place, gets clear down. Of course, teammate Kalen Mitchell underneath. Can Sabilo maybe challenge for the lead? Look at the run. He's getting down out of turn number 1.
He's got his eyes on the first position. His car is in position for the inside. There he goes. Makes the move for it. Getting the air he needs.
It's very difficult to pass in turn 2, but it looks like he is going to possibly manage to do it as he goes. Can he maybe get it? I think Cody is going to still hold on, but what a valiant effort from the 77 of Sabilo.
Let's look for that big exit out of 3. He doesn't quite get what he needs out of it, instead choosing to get back up in, maybe deciding to save a little bit of energy for later in the fight, just to play a little defensive game and then let Hemingway do the hard driving for him.
And I do want to mention the top 3 positions right now. Of course, Sabilo Racing Esports is Keegan Sabilo's team. They have the 1, 2, 3 positions. Yellow flag is out.
Ooh. Massive wreck in the back.
Looks like a massive crash as James Harris involved in his second incident of the night, and he loses his front end. And I think that might be it for the 55. I'm not sure if he's already used that fast repair as he gets into the rear end of John Lucido. Lucido comes up the track, and of course, just pandemonium out here on the racetrack. And I think soon we're going to see there won't be many trucks left. We're going to start to have a lack of trucks on the track if we keep having accidents like this.
We'll turn into a foot race. We'll make it interesting.
100%, but you can just see that damage on the 55. Of course, 55 got into the rear of the 73 of John Lucido. And really, I think the 55 paid the worst price for that accident. Just a massive crash for him, and you can just tell how fast these trucks are going around this racetrack. And a lot of times at tracks such as Pocono, when you have high speeds and you also have these angles, Pocono is a triangle. Triangles are made of what? Angles. When you have angles, A lot of times, and at high speeds, that combination generates massive hits that just absolutely decimate race cars, and you can see that right now. I mean, playing out with that 55. Looks like I do believe we got the 19 as well on pit road.
We've been seeing these wrecks occur in those turn exits, exactly as you were just saying.
Exactly.
Those angles are really the challenge, and keeping up with which one is coming up and remembering to adjust your style accordingly is something that's going to keep you from either crashing into the guy next to you or, crashing into the wall, which is just as likely.
Yeah, that wall is not fun to hit, that's for sure. I mean, a lot of times the wall, I'd rather hit a person, not an actual human being, but I mean another car.
Bump a car, then
a
bump a wall.
Because the car at least will give. The wall does not give. It's not going to move.
No.
It's not going to move at all. It's made of cement. It's gonna tear your car up a lot worse than another car would. So definitely unfortunate to see some guys having some rough nights. And we talked about, my pick, of course, James Harris. He's won three. He won the first 3 races of this season. We're on race number 5 now. This is not, even though he's won 3 races, this early in the season, you can't mess up one race. I mean, there's guys that are ready to pounce on you in these points. I mean, Kalen Mitchell. If I'm not mistaken, I looked at the points before we came into the night's race. James Harris was 129 points. That's how many points he's gotten so far this season. Kalen has 124. I mean, just that is that close. All it takes is for Kalen to finish, 10 spots ahead of Harris, and we got a new points leader.
That's it. And this is the kind of track where you're going to have the possibility of a random event that changes who that points leader, like who's going to be challenging for that points leader very, very quickly. As you've mentioned, Harris being out of the, not out of the race now, but Harris being very, pretty bit banged up. His chances are a little bit diminished, but I still think that we have yet to see. He's not yet out of the race.
Well, I'm seeing he is out of the race car.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
He is out. He has manually disconnected.
Okay.
Right. But he has called it quits. They're loading that truck up onto the hauler. It looks like the damage was too severe. I think he just did not have a fast repair left. I do want to mention as well another DNF we have here tonight. George Young, the 48 machine, out as well. So at the moment, I do believe we still have 24 cars still in competition out of the 26 that started the race. But I think that number is going to continue to fall here. As the closer we get to the end of this thing, the more and more intense it's going to get. And of course, we also should mention these guys are not good on gas to make it to the end.
No, they're going to have to eventually consider throwing gas into the mix. I don't think anybody here has stopped long enough in their pit stop to have taken gas at this point. But between the numerous yellows we've had, the chance to take tires, not take tires, pit strategy has suddenly become one of the major points of contention in this race. And seeing what it's going to be like when we do get some green flag racing, that's going to be it's going to answer a lot of questions about who's thinking deeply about racing at Pocono versus who's just trying to race fast.
Yeah, I definitely think that is curious to see, who's more managing their resources. Who's I think that's the key here. I think guys
play
so
far,
I think 9 laps. There are 9 laps on their equipment at the moment, so no one's really thinking about, I don't think, pitting now, but they are probably. They have it's in their brains right now, rattling around like, hey, I can't make it. Hey, I can't make it. But I think a lot of these guys are probably thinking that, hey, we're probably going to have a caution again, and I'm going to be able to come down pit road, grab some fuel, and as long as it's within that 30-lap mark, they're going to be able to make it to the end. But not right now. They are still short by quite a couple laps. It's a pace car.
If I was, sorry, go on.
I was just saying the pace car lights are out, getting ready to go back green.
Let's go ahead and get this thing started again. If I was one of these racers, I would be thinking conservative restart. Let's get some laps in. I can get some positions later. I need some laps in. I got to warm these tires up.
That's definitely something that it's easier said than done. I mean,
I know.
Every position is so important to these guys. They know that it is so difficult to pass, and I think that's what causes such the intensity that we're seeing here as the pace car dips down pit road. Cody Hemingway up through the gears. Great restart there for him. Great start as well for Kalen Mitchell, who's going to essentially push the 10 down the front stretch. And I think it's going to be Cody Hemingway leading into turn number 1 as he tries to arc it. Of course, also Robbie Keneally, the driver that we talked about being so talented, has made his way up into 4th place. This guy is going to be, he's going to be a contender. I got to say, I think that one machine is going to be a contender. Robbie Keneally, longtime champion Power Equipment Truck Series driver. He has stepped away for quite a while, but he is back. It seems that he's putting on a show.
He is 21 positions up. Hardest charger of the night so far.
That's impressive, isn't it? I mean, just seeing, and that just shows just how his talent level. I mean, this guy has won a bunch of these champion. Oh, wreck. Nick Jaboski, Stephen Witt, both involved in this one. Oh no, looks like a little bit of drama on the racetrack. Oh my.
Are we seeing beef?
I think we might be. I'm not sure. It does appear that I think that's the 82.
Let's let it play out.
Jaboski, let's see exactly what happens here. Yeah, this is definitely a story to you see the 44, of course, of Stephen Witt. We're going to have to look at this one again and kind of see exactly what has sparked this. We're looking back at it. You see, it looks like Jaboski gets into the outside wall, and I think the 4 as well gets tight. So I think both of these drivers suffering from some handling conditions, and it looks like some frustration. I mean, very much some frustration playing out here. These guys beating and banging, coming on to.
Trying to get around him. Can't get around him, and then he just turns back into him. Yeah.
That definitely does not look like a very sportsmanlike conduct.
The old spite magnet. He almost sent him flying.
Yeah, that's definitely a rough crash right there. You can see Jaboski, of course, missing his right front. Of course, the 44, shocked that the 44 can still drive his way back to pit road here.
Many people driving into pit road here, actually.
And I think this is the reason for this is fuel.
Yeah, it would be about that time at this point. With the many restarts we've had, I thought maybe they would save a little bit more. But if you want to make this a one-stopper, you think maybe you can fill up now and make it work?
It would be really close. You'd have to really try to save fuel. You might be able to make it to the end on fuel here, but it is going to be very, very close. You're going to have to do a lot of saving. You're also going to have to try to not be out front because, of course, one thing about tracks such as Pocono, you burn more fuel when you're in front. If you're in clean air, you have to cut through the air. That burns more fuel. So if you're behind somebody, you're able to kind of save and not have to drive so hard. So that's definitely something that we got to keep in mind. I think these drivers are as well keeping that in mind as well. So some drivers have elected to stay out, though. I see, of course, Tyler Meeks, Nathan Meyer, Toby Ritters, Blake Tidwell, William Mann Jr., top 5 essentially have elected to stay out. Of course, Meyer was the one that was involved in that crash, I do believe, the first crash of the race. He is the reigning champion of the series at the moment, and I think he's trying to just kind of throw a Hail Mary pass to see if he can, get back into a good performance here tonight.
Well, it looks like a lot of Hail Mary passes are being thrown here. A lot of the guys that are in the top 5 now are all double-digit charging up from the middle of the pack. So this shake around with a group of fresh tires and a group of potentially fresh tires. It looks like some people did take tires. We got some, it looks like James Loveland, Andrew Hale, Stephen Witt, Kilgore Jackson. Those guys took tires. A few people just took gas. So seeing that, it's going to be interesting to see the blend of tires and gas that are behind the guys in first place now. And then now we're going to be challenging them to keep their lines defensive and keep up to speed at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of drivers took fuel only. You good call on that. I mean, I think the majority of the drivers that just pitted took fuel only. The guys further back in the pack As you mentioned, Andrew Hale, he was one that I think took tires. So very interesting to see those kind of discrepancies, and to see how that the differences in strategy. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. I mean, clearly strategy is on the minds of everyone. Fuel, I think, is at the forefront at the moment. Of course, Tyler Meeks, he was one that was at the front towards the earlier portions of the race. But these guys up here in the top 5 and the majority of the top 15 are on older tires. Do we see some wheel spin? Do we see some of the guys on newer tires rocket their way to the front? Could that cause maybe some drama? I think that's a possibility.
Now, you mentioned fall off being something that was a concern at Pocono. So I think that you've already, read the tea leaves on that one, my friend, in terms of, are we going to be seeing these top 5 guys hold on to it with the amount of fall off that could happen early in your run at Pocono when your tires start to wake up a little bit. And you mentioned, 0.4 of a second potentially, even per lap, or less than, or around that number. You could see these guys really having a hard time holding on to this. And so we're going to be finding out very shortly here as things get restarted.
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely see quite a bit of fall off for sure. I mean, maybe they've had some time under the caution to kind of cool the tire down, so we'll have to see. But I think eventually their tire life will catch up to them for sure as the pace car gets ready to exit turn number 3. And here we go, getting ready to get this thing back underway. Mixed bag of strategies here at Pocono Raceway at the Tricky Triangle. And this has been quite a tricky race as Tyler Meeks enters the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out. Good restart, though, for the 7. He was able to get up through the gears quicker than the 24 as everybody is trying to duck and dive for every single position they can find to find some clean air. It's a 35. Of course, Tidwell tries to get up to the back bumper of the 23 of Ritter's. Cody Hemingway, guy, I do believe he was the first one to pit. He's trying to work his way through the field. He has not been in dirty air all night long. Does that change the handling of that race car as he fights side by side with Robbie Keneally?
We're about to find out. It looks like he's able to hold on with the center of the pack. Not really. These top 7 or 8 guys are really holding their positions pretty cleanly now, as I think people are just trying to get back on the feel of a high-speed car under the wheel. We do have some people kind of diving to the inside. Looks like Tidwell looking for an inside line against Ritter there for a little bit as we came out of turn 3 here, back across the start-finish line.
You see Keneally, of course, he's in that one blue machine right there. He's now diving to the inside, going to be entering turn 1. I think he's going to possibly try to see if he can take this 4th place position, and I think he may have it, but definitely the 35 fighting strong on that higher line. But I think the 1 is going to maybe just get clear, not quite, as these guys are fighting tooth and nail for every position they possibly can get. Tyler Meeks, though, still holds on to the lead. We have crossed that halfway point as the 4th and 5th place position still fighting hard. Looks like there goes Keneally. He has gotten the pass completed. Going to try to work his way up to Ritters.
We got a nice clean exit out of that turn finally from these guys as we come around, and I'm hoping for more clean turns as things do get spread out a little bit. Up at the front, Tyler Meeks still not quite putting the distance on the pack behind him that the predecessor at the top of the chain, Cody Hemingway, is able to. Meyer now very close on the bumper, looking for position, potentially trying to push him into the turn, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, we got a big battle going on right now for, I do believe, 5th place. Cody Hemingway has led a lot of this race. He led the first half of this race, essentially. He's now battling with that 35 of Tidwell, and he is having some problems. These guys are beating and banging, some door slams happening right here. I would not be surprised if this does not end up pretty, as the 10 desperate to get back where he was. But you mentioned it. Looks like I definitely see the 24 trying to push the 7 into the corner. But here comes Keneally battling for the top 3 positions side by side for 3rd.
It's a beautiful sight. These cars now sorting themselves back out. We're seeing some familiar faces toward the top, but Keneally still hard charging, pushing his way back up. He's trying to make sure that gap does not lengthen between himself and Meyer. It's already about 0.3. It could be a little bit wider if he still has to play defense. But Meyer is just so laser focused on Meeks that I don't think that he's going to notice if Keneally is driving right on his bumper the entire time. I'm just thinking that Keneally's got a lot of work cut out ahead of him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just know how strong Keneally is of a driver. I think that he Now, Meyer is a strong driver as well. I think this is going to be a Titan fight in a lot of ways. This is going to be very interesting to see unfold. At the moment, though, Keneally is the fastest car on the track. 54.439 last time by, so he is rolling at the moment. Now, I talked about fall off earlier. These guys that are in front of Keneally, they've fallen off about 4/10, as you've kind of already alluded to. But Keneally is showing much more pace, but it is difficult to pass, as you can see Keneally trying to possibly look for an inroad to maybe get up into the top 2 and possibly up to the lead.
There's a switch there as Hemingway makes a pass as well. I believe that was Hemingway makes a pass. I'm looking at Tidwell was able to pass Keegan's for 6th place there. Everybody straightening out. A few passes happening in the back of the field, though. A little bit of sorting out still going on.
Yeah, I think Tidwell is starting to kind of struggle. Of course, I think Keegan has been trying to actually pass the 35. Now, Hemingway did get past the 35, but you can see the 35 is struggling at the moment as Keegan Sabilo to the inside is going to get clear. Oh, barely. This is definitely very scary as Sabilo almost gets turned by the 35. These guys are racing very, very hard for this 6th place position. You can just tell how much these positions mean. But one great thing about Sabilo is he has his teammate Kalen Mitchell right there behind him, and that's going to help him out quite a bit as they do get clear.
That is a lot of driving into what we've seen is the danger zone in these trucks. You get close to that corner, and you can just as easily tip one of these cars into a spin with so much as a bad glance. And it looks like a little bit of bump drafting about to happen here.
Battle for the lead. Tyler Meeks has gotten past new leader Robbie Keneally up in the lead here now. So the one machine our producers picked, he picked them for a reason. Robbie Keneally is up in the lead.
Well done.
And he started in 25th position, so he has gained, what's it, 24 positions now?
24 positions, yeah. He's crossed almost the entire field, which is it's just a spectacular performance tonight. A mixture of opportunist, hard driving, skillful driving, a little bit of everything. With all the yellows we've had, the wrecks we've had, and then all the passing that is required to maintain those positions, good pitting strategy. You've seen you've seen it all from Robbie Keneally tonight so far, and we're only just a little bit over halfway through the race.
Yeah, he's definitely shown that he's one of the best that's ever been in this series, clearly. But I don't want to count out the 10 of Cody Hemingway. Last lap, he was actually the fastest car on the track, 54.870. He was actually a tenth or so faster than Keneally. So watch out for the 10. I think Cody Hemingway is going to re-enter this battle. You talked about it earlier about saving tires. I think these guys like the 10. I think the 10 is not really trying to burn them up.
Yeah, I'm watching that right now. You can see that he's maintaining a specific car length behind himself and Toby Ritter. He's not challenging Ritter's position. He's hanging just behind it in 5th position, knowing that when he wants to, he can close that gap. He's in the tunnel. He's in there. So when he wants to, he can close that gap, but right now he doesn't want to. He's going to save his tires. He's going to save his gas.
Yeah, that's a good point. Trying to save that fuel. I think that's a really good point for Hemingway. Of course, he is one of the guys that pitted recently as well, along with Keneally. But Keneally is burning more fuel than everybody at the moment. So maybe some of these guys don't even mind him being up in the lead at the moment, just because that he's having to cut through the air. He's having to burn the most fuel. So they're willing to let him do that and lead these laps. And hopefully, they're probably hoping that he's going to run out at the end of this race.
If we watch the race from the perspective of Robbie Keneally, we look behind him, we see a big game of snake being played as what you say comes true. Everyone just seems to be following the line that he is setting. It down to the inside, back up to the outside. They're straightening out that turn very well. But when he makes a small play to the inside, immediately goes Tyler Meeks, immediately goes Nathan Meyer. They all are close enough that they're in the tunnel without having to worry about challenging for position. So if any of them are smart, I say, as they all clearly are, they're not going to be racing too hard at the front until we get closer to the end of the race.
Yeah, for sure. And I have seen someone decide to take a green flag pit stop. I saw Blake Tidwell. He came down pit road, going to take a little bit of fuel. Of course, he was one of the drivers that was kind of struggling in that little bit of a pack. He got passed left and right. He decided to come down pit road, fuel the race car up. Definitely can't blame him for doing that. We also have some racing going on a little bit further back. Carter Casey, he was your pick. He is right now in 16th, battling with John Horn and Russ Kilgore. So definitely some stuff still going on all over this racetrack. There's guys battling, guys trying to get as many positions as they can here.
There's some close driving there between Colby Jackson and Andrew Hale. And Carter Casey, yeah, now in a nice straight line, but there is just as soon as we get into the turns, anybody who's got that little bit of extra in the turn, they take it down to the inside. Oh, a little bit of loose out of Carter Casey there. Take it down to the inside. Anybody who's got that little extra edge, they're going to try to use it. And so we do see those two wides pop up here and there like little popcorn seats toward the end of the bake. As everybody is turning around here, lap 39 into lap 40.
Yeah, closing in on the second, I should say two-thirds portion, or last third of this race, I should say. As you can see guys trying to make passes here. You see Andrew Hale, of course, pushing past, I do believe, the 3 of Colby Jackson. You see Jason Taylor there on the 13. This is kind of right on the edge of that top 10. Keneally in control at the moment. Tyler Meeks, he of course qualified, I do believe, up towards the front earlier in this race, has managed to hold his own up here in second. Now Meeks does not have as much gas as a driver like Keneally or Cody Hemingway. Now I do believe as well Nathan Meyer does not. Some of these guys do not have a whole lot of fuel to play with. We're going to see probably the 7, the 24, the 23, some of these guys probably popping down pit road very soon. They're going to be doing green flag stops. Now, some guys, like you talked about, they're going to try to make it the whole way.
Yep. Yeah, and if they're in the right position, if they have the right environment, they might just be able to do it. And that's also pending on us not restacking things back up with another yellow within these last 20 laps here.
Yeah, that's really all it depends on. Can these guys hold it together and not wreck each other? I mean, some drivers are probably hoping that they do. I mean, some guys are hoping that they do wreck. I mean, if I was in Tyler Meeks' shoes and I knew I did not have enough fuel to make it to the end, I'd be like, yes, I want to see a yellow. Someone throw a banana peel out there.
Yeah,
I want to see somebody shoot a turtle shell. Somebody shoot a turtle shell at somebody.
That would make iRacing far too interesting. And that's what they're really afraid of, is the Mario Kart crowd coming in and taking all the races away from them.
100%. While we do have a moment, I think now's a good time to kind of shout out one of our sponsors here for this series. Of course, that being Green Mountain Grills. Green Mountain Grills, where innovation meets flavor. Your grilling experience, take your grilling experience to new heights. Are you tired of the same old grilling routine? Elevate your barbecue game with Green Mountain Grills, the ultimate choice for enthusiasts who crave precision, performance, and mouth-watering results. Why choose Green Mountain Grills? Well, they have smart control technology, versatile cooking options, and quality craftsmanship. They're also wood fire flavor, easy to use. So if you're ready to transform your outdoor cooking experience, choose Green Mountain Grills, where every meal is an adventure and every bite a masterpiece. Upgrade your grilling game today. Visit greenmountaingrills.com.
I think you just sold me a grill.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, they don't give me the commission, but maybe they'll start.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'll grill in honor of tonight's winner. I will. That's what I'll do. I'll learn to grill better in honor of tonight's winner, thanks to Green Mountain Grills.
100%. But Robbie Keneally, way out front now. 7/10 is his lead at the moment over Tyler Meeks. Nathan Meyer, though, is starting to slowly reel in Tyler Meeks. Now, of course, this track is a very technical racetrack. You can be, pretty fast and kind of be, I say, dragged along by the draft. The draft can help you out quite a bit, but where you're going to see the master kind of shine is on the longer runs. That's where the master at this track is going to shine. You can see Keneally is starting to shine a little bit better than everybody else when it comes to his long run pace. At the moment, he's about 2/10 faster than the guy behind him. Of course, Nathan Meyer, we know he is a previous series champion. He's looking quite quick right now. Cody Hemingway, though, he, of course, was in the lead of this race earlier in the event. He's now up to 4th, has gotten by Toby Ritter. So, and he's not too far off the back bumper of the 24.
He's really not. And Hemingway is the guy who set sort of the here's how to lead the race at Pocono example earlier in the race, which is one that Keneally is more or less duplicating here. He's got almost a full second ahead of the second place behind him. He's got a perfect line going out to the outside line, hugging the wall, down to the inside, hog the yellow line, straighten that turnout. He's really hoping that everything stays like this. This is picture perfect for someone like Robbie Keneally, someone like Cody Hemingway. Hemingway now actually taking 3rd place. This is something perfect for these kind of drivers because they can maintain this position. Even with the clean air they're having to chop through, Tyler Meeks is dealing with clean air too. He's too far back to be in the tunnel. So with 2 cars both dealing with clean air at the same time, they're going to be the same speed. And they are basically maintaining the same gap and have been for some time now. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if Tyler Meeks can figure out how to close the gap between Keneally at all, unless the race goes to a yellow flag.
Well, I mean, what could help him is if Cody Hemingway, if he was willing to kind of work alongside with Tyler Meeks, he can kind of push his rear end a little bit, get him closer to Keneally. But, I mean, also we got tire management to keep in mind. I mean, talking about fall off, we've got over a second of fall off at the moment. Of course, these guys started out this race with 54, 54.5, somewhere in there, lap times. Now, lap times are hitting now 55.5. That's over a second of fall off we're seeing right now, and that's clearly showing that some of these guys are struggling more than others. I mean, I think Nathan Meyer seems to be struggling quite a bit. I mean, his last lap was a 56-second lap. That is well off the pace of some of the guys out here as he's getting now passed by Toby Ritters.
Meyer is one of the guys who was from the lap 15 club. His last pit was on lap 15. So he hasn't touched his tires. He hasn't touched his fuel since then. He's going to be lighter for lack of gas, but his tires are going to be much more useless compared to other guys who are big in the lap 27 club, for instance, where we have quite a few of the drivers right now who are in the top. It's actually a good mixture of guys who are in 15 and 27. Meeks is in the 15 club. So
yeah, Toby Ritters is as well. So I mean, even those guys that are on older tires are still doing pretty good compared to the rest of the field here. And one thing we got to keep in mind, you talked about, I think one key thing you just mentioned that I think we should discuss is the lighter the race car is, and some people will say, oh, that makes you faster. Well, at certain tracks it does. At certain tracks like a road course, having less fuel in the car will make you faster. At a track like this, though, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. It kind of changes the handling. If you're able to maybe adjust your tire pressure and maybe adjust on the race car, which these guys cannot do that. This is a fixed series race. If you can adjust your car, you can compensate for the lighter weight. But because you are weighing less, it makes the car tighter, which makes it not handle as good. You're not able to get the speeds. Of course, we heard the old adage, loose is fast. Tight is not fast. Tight is not good. As we see Toby Ritters, of course, he has decided to let it come down pit road. This is not a surprise. You talked about these guys last time they pitted was on lap 15. That was over 30 laps ago.
Yeah, now he's finally coming in. He's going to probably get a little bit of everything, I'm guessing, and just get it all done with now and try to finish the race on whatever he's able to after this. Of course, only 12 laps left in the race, so falling down to 18th place, potentially lower, 19th now, it looks like it's going to cost him pretty big to do that. Then again, the guys who are also in the 15 club, we might start seeing them have to pit too. We've got Tyler Meeks is going to have to pit at some point. Nathan Meyer is going to have to pit at some point.
100%. Now, those guys are going to have to pit. But I still think, to be honest, there's a question mark on some of the other guys. I mean, like, Robbie Keneally. I think there is a question mark beside him. He's out in the lead. He's been burning a lot of gas being up here in the lead. Same thing, any of the drivers that even though they might have pitted on lap 27, I talked to the owner of the league, James Harris, before this race began, and he told me, he said 31 max. That was the max amount you could make it. That's with saving fuel. That's when you already trying to save gas. So if that's the number, if 31 is the max number, these guys are not going to make it. 27 minus 60 is not 31.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And now we see Cody Hemingway trying to make his way into second place, passing up Tyler Meeks. He's got it. I was just about to say this puts Hemingway in a uniquely good position to move up. And there he goes. He's now able to take it without Tyler Meeks even going into the pits, which I assumed was going to be what gave him the second place position.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Meeks hasn't popped down yet. He's going to have to come down very soon, but he looks like he's still willing to race. As he's all over back to Cody Hemingway here.
Hemingway better stay up or else he's going to get spun.
Yeah, this is definitely looking very intense as we're coming to next time by 10 laps to go.
Meeks giving no indication that he's going to pit anytime soon. Not with this kind of hard racing. There would be no real reason to do it if he was going to be doing it in the next lap or two even.
Yeah, it is kind of confusing why he's racing so hard. I mean, I think he's got to be running on fumes right now when it comes to how much gas he's got left in that tank at the moment. Oh, went to the outside wall. This is going to possibly be a caution. No, he's able to gather it back up. A very heavy hit on the outside wall. We stay green.
There goes Tyler Meeks.
Yeah, he's going to have to come to pit road now. I do believe that was quite a hit.
With 10 to go, that could be the end of the competition for him for sure.
And I got to give him a lot of credit. Tyler Meeks was fast here tonight, and it's just unfortunate that his results are not going to show it.
Yeah, very fast. He was able to hold on to a tough spot with a car that was, as you said, running on fumes, and then it looks like it just coughed at the last second, maybe hit with that infamous spot at the outside of turn 2. I think that's where he was, right out of the tunnel turn, potentially.
That's
and
a tough
it just
place.
Right up against the wall. Beep, over and done with. It's a shame.
And now we're going to pretty much turn our attention to Nathan Meyer. How far can he make it? I mean, this is going to be, I'm surprised he isn't already out of gas. I mean, so maybe our fuel numbers were a little bit off of our projection. So I'm going to have to talk to James Harrison to give him a little bit of a beat. Because apparently he told me the wrong number. But, I mean, these guys, Meyer should not be able to continue to turn laps. I mean, if he pitted, his last lap time he pitted was lap 15. We're on lap 52 right now. I mean, I understand that you've had a lot of cautions, and that could possibly be able to make up some of the, to be able to help him to fuel save. But I'm shocked he's made it this far.
Not just on fuel, on the tires too. I see him getting loose now a little bit behind Kalen Mitchell, but on tires alone, I would assume that they've got to be down to the fine rubber and ready to lose on any of these turns and give him something he doesn't expect. Leave him up into the wall. I see a little bit of loose out of him, but he's just similar to Tyler Meeks. He's driving an
we got somebody smoking
into the pit lane. Yeah, someone's driving down pit lane right now. Looks like that.
Blake Tidwell with 35, missing his front end. I'm not exactly sure what happened here, but he is smoking bad right now. This is not, I don't know exactly what happened, but he's going to be done for the day.
Yeah, don't have a sign of an incident. Yeah, let us know.
Back here at the 35 course, he had pitted, I do believe, around lap 40 or so, if I'm not mistaken. And he was in turn number 2, got into the outside wall much in the same way that Tyler Meeks did. Instead, he got into the outside wall, came down and hit the inside wall. And, of course, that blew his engine. He is going to be done for the night.
That'll be it. Robbie Keneally now almost 3 seconds ahead. But somehow I think that even with 7 to go, there could be a yellow in the future. But with this few cars on the track, as we've seen. Oh, there goes Meyer.
Yep, Meyer down pit road. Meyer might have just got a speeding penalty. He came in really hot. You just saw the smoke kind of from them tires hit, trying to stop there. He might have gotten a speeding penalty. We'll have to keep an eye on that if he's going to have himself a hold as we're coming up to 6 laps to go here at Pocono Raceway. What a race so far. Robbie Keneally, a late entry to the race, comes out here, starts 25th, and rockets his way up into the lead. Does he have enough fuel? It's on Nathan. Come down pit road. I think Robbie should have a good bit more fuel to play with.
Robbie was one of the guys who his last pit was very fast. It was a 6-second pit stop,
Fuel
which
only,
is fuel only on the pit stop. Yeah, so he definitely has the gas. Let's see if he can make it work, though, alongside everybody else down to the 7th place position, who also pitted on lap 27 and also, I believe, only took gas during that pit stop.
Now, I know one driver that took tires, I think, was Andrew Hale. He's worked his way up to 8th
there
place.
He is, yeah.
But at the moment, he's not really faster than the guys ahead of him. So it seems like he's sort of plateaued as he's driven his way up to 8th. Of course, he's about 8 seconds back from our leader at the moment. Lots of spreading out right now. We do have a battle, though, going on for 3rd place, I do believe, sort of. Kalen Mitchell and Keegan Sabilo are very close to one another. Now, I do know those drivers are teammates. Do they start to fight one another? I think that's something that could end up happening. I mean, even though you might be teammates, if it comes down to the last couple laps, I'm sorry, boss. I'm trying to get that position.
Yeah. Well, that kind of friendly competition at the front can lead to unfriendly conversations afterwards. I'm the kind of guy who says, hey, if we're in the same team, we all win if one of us wins. So I'll push you across the finish line, pal. I think that's the safer bet 9 times out of 10, but it really depends on the ego of the guy behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely a good point. And we could even be seeing some fuel saving going on as well. Our producer kind of just pointed out that these guys could be doing a little bit of fuel saving. But it looks like Kalen has decided to pounce on the position. Looks like they're still side by side. Kalen getting really tight. Oh, he gets loose. Harley Barletta tries to take advantage. And Harley is going to get a 2-for-1 special, moves up to 3rd place. Harley Barletta is having a very good night here tonight.
Yeah.
And Harley, I got to be honest, has not been the most impressive to me. I know a lot of people say that I'm really mean when I say things like this. I give underhanded compliments, people say. But, I mean, I mean it, though. Like, when I say Harley, a lot of times doesn't impress me with his performances. But tonight, he is looking really, really good. And I'm going to get angry emails like, Brian, you're complimenting them, but you're kind of doing it in a way that is still hurtful. But he's in 3rd. This is not an easy series to finish 3rd in. It is not at all. I could not put the performance on that Harley's doing right now at all.
Not at all. And we just saw a really good drive from Harley getting to that 3rd place position. And now, with only a few laps to go, still 2 seconds off Cody Hemingway, but the podium is well within his grasp. And I think that saying that someone is, if they're saying that they're impressive, just not the most impressive, that's still a compliment. I think you can get away with that. I will let you get away with that, Brian.
Well, no, I mean, like I'm saying that he hasn't impressed me in other races. He's very much impressed me in this race. In other series, Harley's had speed in a lot of races, but he's not able to put a whole race together. I mean, that's just kind of what I meant by that. So, Harley, if you're watching the broadcast back, please don't be upset with me. You're having a fantastic showing. Please finish 3rd. I'd love to be
We're rooting for you. Yeah, we're looking for you to stay on there for the podium. With 3 to go, it looks like that might be the case unless a little bit more of that saving mentality starts to switch off on a few of these guys like Keegan Sobilo and Kalen Mitchell. We're going to be seeing Robbie Keneally followed by Cody Hemingway and then Harley Barletta.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. We're coming up to 2 laps to go. It looks like we got some drivers shutting off the engine. I do believe our producer's telling us, I think Robbie Keneally, he is having problems with his fuel. So he is having to shut the engine off in order to try to save as much as he can. Can he make it the 2 more laps required of him?
Engine's off right now. He's on the coast.
Yeah, he is trying to coast through some of these corners to save as much gas as he can. Now, if he's having this problem, other drivers have got to have this problem as well. But, of course, as I mentioned before, Robbie has been in the clean air. He's been out front, which means he has been burning the most fuel. And a lot of people don't realize how much more gas you burn when you're up front. Sometimes it can be 2 more laps. Your estimated fuel could be less than 2 more laps than what someone else would have potentially. So we'll see exactly what Robbie can do here. Of course, this is a big racetrack. So can he make it 1 more lap? White flag is flying here. Next flag is going to end it no matter what.
This is exciting. With 2 seconds of gap between Keneally and Hemingway. Hemingway driving hard. There is always a chance. Every man with two hands got a fighting chance, and any car with four wheels can still drive. So I think it'll be interesting to see. But turning off the car and still maintaining a 2-second gap, Robbie Keneally is bringing it down now, round turn 2 into turn 3.
Well, I mean, he's doing it at the slowest parts of the track. You know, you can kind of get away with it. You can get away with it in turn 1, and probably a little bit in turn 3, but you definitely do not want to shut the car off in turn 2, because that's the fastest part of this racetrack, our fastest corner. As he's going to come out of turn 3, if he's going to show any signs of running out of fuel, it's going to be right here. But no, I think he's going to be able to make it to the start-finish line under his own power. Robbie Keneally will win here at Pocono Raceway. What a job from him.
What a drive. What a drive. Taking a page out of Hemingway's book and showing him how to do it himself, including adding a few pages of his own with that incredible technique of shutting off the car during the slow sections and turning it right back on. That was how to drive your car with no gas in the tank by Robbie Keneally.
Yeah, what an awesome performance here from Robbie Keneally. Started the race in 25th position, drove his way all the way up to the lead. Man, he has just put on a performance that we will remember for quite some time. We're going to go ahead and take a brief step away. We'll come right back. We'll go over our final race results, and then we'll interview our top 3.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Is he back yet?
Welcome back, guys, to Grid Vision. Of course, we just had an awesome race where Robbie Keneally put on an excellent performance. I do believe we have the final results should be coming up to us here as we have Robbie Keneally who started the race in 25th position, gained 24 spots. What a performance for him. Of course, Cody Hemingway led the first half of this race. He finished in second place, so definitely cannot say enough about how great he drove as well. Harley Barletta, I do believe this is career high performance here for him. Third place. Keegan Sabilo finished fourth. Fifth place, Kalen Mitchell. Sixth, James Loveland. Seventh, Andrew Hale. Eighth, Jason Taylor. Ninth, Stephen Witt. And 10th, Carter Casey.
Coming in 11th place, John Horn. 12th, Brian High. 13th, Colby Jackson. 14th, Toby Ritters. 15th, Tyler Meeks. 16th, Nick Jezboski, 17th, Kenneth Garrell. 18th, John Lucido. 19th, William Mann. And 20th, Ethan Meyer.
21st, John Legger. 22nd, of course, Ryan Jalick. 23rd, Blake Tidwell. 24th, Russ Kilgore. 25th, heartbreaker of a race here, James Harris. 26th, of course, George Young. My pick has to finish 25th. Come on. But that was definitely an interesting race here tonight. Let's get into the interview portion of tonight's show. I'm definitely ready to talk to some of these guys. Of course, first up, we're going to talk to Harley Barletta. And we got him here in the booth. Harley, do you read us?
Yes, sir. How's it going, guys?
Doing fine. Glad to have you up here in the booth. I think this is the first time we've had you up in here in the Grid Vision booth. This has got to be, I think, a career high finish for you. Third place. I mean, how high are you excited?
Of course, man. Podium is great, especially with all these guys. Guys run really good. We had a bunch of cautions, but I don't know. After we sorted it all out, it was a really good race.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like you had the pulse of the racetrack as well. I mean, how much preparation time did you put in to get ready for Pocono?
I ran about 4 laps before the session opened.
Not hardly any preparation at all, man. I'm shocked. I mean, is Pocono a track that you are already good at?
I think so. I raced with James here before, and I beat him here one time. I'm not saying that's a thing or anything, but I don't know. I guess I seem to end up doing well here.
It definitely seems like you do, for sure. I mean, hopefully this will be a good momentum swing for you. I know a lot of times it seems like, you have trouble putting together a full race, even though you a lot of times have speed to contend. It just seems like you kind of get involved in an accident or something like that. But today, it just seemed like everything kind of went together for you. Tell us about that 3-wide move where you saw kind of the teammates Keegan Sabilo and Kalen Mitchell. They were battling each other, and you kind of shot underneath them and took both of them. How about that?
Well, I was trying to set them up for a couple laps there, and they just weren't getting side by side. I just had to wait for that to happen. As soon as they got side by side, they stopped. And it was very easy to just take it nice and easy down there on the line and just come up underneath them and scoot on by.
Well, definitely. It was a great pass for sure, Harley. Glad to have been able to talk to you. Next week, we're going to be heading to Lucas Oil or IRP. How do you think about that? That's going to be a short track.
Yeah, we're probably all going to run the top there and burn our tires up, so it's going to be probably a lot of fun.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to it. Harley, who can we shout out after your third place finish?
Oh, definitely Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills, you guys in the booth. Y'all do a fantastic job. Love the broadcasts. Everybody else in the league is pretty chill. To be honest, it's been a good time. I enjoyed here.
All right, Harley. Well, we definitely enjoyed having you, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, man.
That was Harley Barletta, driver of the 81 machine. Next up, I do believe we're going to have Cody Hemingway, and he's going to be standing by with Joe.
Hey there, Cody. How are you? Nice job with the second place finish.
Thank you. I appreciate it. How you guys doing? I'm doing all right.
We're doing real good. We saw you at the beginning of the race there, though, putting on a bit of a clinic. You were holding on to the lead with a nice sizable gap before that yellow came out that squished everything up. Tell us what was going through your head after that yellow came out. What were you thinking trying to hold on to that lead?
Yeah, I wish I would have went green longer. I knew I had good short run speed, but just couldn't manage the tires, especially kind of coming up through traffic. I knew I wanted to stay up front, kind of manage a draft if I could on the straights. And then once we pit and kind of split the strategies, we were in traffic, and Robbie just did a better job cutting up through traffic and saving his tires.
Toward the end of the race, did you run into any fuel problems at all? Did you start to feel the fumes?
I was saving a little bit with about 12 laps to go, but once we had 10 laps to go, we knew we were in the green to enough to just push. But at that point, he was too far gone to go catch him. Tires were too gone.
Yeah, we had a number of yellows there that were really changing the nature of the pit strategy. So we saw guys like you pitted around lap 27. You were able to hold on to the fuel for the rest of the race. Really good job with that. And just wondering if you had anybody that you wanted to shout out here after your second place finish.
Yeah, of course. All the guys at Mac Tools, Vidmar, Black and Decker. Special thanks to Dwayne and Colin. They were watching in tonight. Wish could have got them the win, but I guess second is all right. I want to thank my wife, my 2 daughters, and you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast. James Harris for pretty good league, fun league, good competitors, and everyone for racing clean for the most part.
All right, thank you for your time tonight. I'm going to pass it back to Brian Britt, and he's going to take it away with our leader.
All righty, that was Cody Hemingway, driver of the 10 machine. Next up, we're going to talk to Robbie Keneally. And, of course, our producer, Taylor Burris, picked Robbie to win this race. And I guess you guys, I don't know, there's some type of cheating going on here, Robbie.
Man, that was a really fun race for sure. It was insane for the start there. I think it was really hard to pass. I think clean air was the name of the game. And during that last restart, I knew that was my only chance. Honestly, I think Cody was a little bit better than me. But I knew that clean air was going to be the name of the game, so that last restart I was pretty aggressive, and I felt like I did a pretty good job of getting up front, and I think that's what sealed the deal there.
Yeah, and it definitely seemed like, you were one of the drivers that could pass the easiest. I mean, you started in 25th. I mean, why didn't you qualify? Are you just trying to play on hard mode?
No, actually, I messed up qualifying. This is only like my second or third race with the new truck build, so
okay.
It was kind of learning, but I missed qualifying pretty bad.
Well, you definitely did well on the racetrack. Of course, we saw there towards the end of the race there that you were having to shut off the engine. Was fuel kind of a major concern for you?
It was pretty close. I just wanted to be sure. I knew I had a big lead, so I started clutching it through the entries of all the corners just to be sure. I think I ended the race with like less than half a lap of fuel there.
Well, definitely, we were shocked that you were able to make it yourself because, I mean, just considering you were out front, you were having to burn a little bit more fuel there for sure. So do we expect to see more of you in the future, Robbie? Because I know you used to be kind of a staple of this series.
Yeah, with the ARCA stuff and, the team we're building, I just haven't really had the time, I feel like, of, used to have before. So, whenever I'm available, I'll hop on and have some fun for sure.
Well, we look forward to seeing you for sure, Robbie. Who can we shout out after this awesome finish? I mean, hard charger and victory.
Yeah, I just got to thank all you guys in the broadcast booth, and I want to thank Setting the Stage, American Swim Academy, and Wiley X Sunglasses.
All right, Robbie. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully, we'll be soon.
Yep, thank you.
All righty, that was Robbie Keneally, driver of the 000, or the one machine in this race here tonight. Definitely a fantastic performance from him. Any final thoughts, Joe?
Well, it's been an interesting beginning of the week for me on Grid Vision. I've watched 3 different Pocono races in 2 days. This had to be one of the most exciting in terms of the passing we saw, the yellows, stacking everybody up, the lessons I've learned. Just want to say thank you for your time running me through this series. First time I've gotten a chance to call it. First chance I've called with you. Also had a really wonderful evening, and I look forward to doing it again.
Well, thank you, man. It just made me feel all buttery inside right there. But thanks, Joe. It's definitely fun calling the race with you as well, and of course, definitely was a fun one for sure to see. Kind of pack style racing, but then also it turned into a resource management sort of race as well. And can't wait to see what IRP looks like next week. That's going to be a very tricky style short track. But of course, we want to thank Taylor Burris for being an awesome producer here tonight, bringing all the camera angles to us here. And of course, thank you to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series for trusting us here at Grid Vision. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.